is Chu, welcome back to the channel, and this title. Of course, always disclaimers first. Disclaimer 1, this is all my opinion of course, and I do not speak for other readers of the series. I feel like I am in the minority when it comes to this. When it comes to Princess Jellyfish for the manga. Everyone else seems to like it. They are free to feel that way. Of course, I'm not arguing with them. I'm just here to state my opinion, and who am I to give an opinion? I am no one special, legit. I have no degree in writing. I have taken classes to dissect passages, speeches, literature, stuff like that. That's only in high school. I don't went to college for it, so I am definitely not qualified in any way. I just want to talk about it. I'm here just to openly discuss. So if you disagree or agree, leave it in the comments. This video will skew more negative, if you couldn't tell from the title and the thumbnail. Okay then. It's gonna seem more negative, but I do not hate this series whatsoever, and I'm not trying to bash Akiko Higashimura, I think. I did really enjoy the first half of the series, hence why I wanted to read it, because I watched the anime first. I am just speaking about the series out of the love and hope I had for it. It could have honestly become a manga classic, if not a staple in the various topics it talked about. The manga industry, the anime industry in general, is just really bad right now with all the hate towards like creators and the producers and everything. Like Attack on Titan is just the creators for that, for MAPPA, does not deserve any of that. Promise Neverland, even though it's awful right now, you don't deserve any of that as well. Manga especially is so cutthroat. For these people who click on this video and don't know what Princess Jellyfish is, but you're just really curious, well, let me give you a synopsis and all the great points about Princess Jellyfish so you can check out at least the anime and read the first half of the series. Oh, I have the book right here. Let me get that out real quick. So, what is Princess Jellyfish about? It's about a girl named Tsukimi. She's a girl in the braids and the dark hair. But Tsukimi is a jellyfish otaku who is highly insecure and extremely bad at interacting with society. She lives in Tokyo with a bunch of other otaku ladies, and they are also unemployed and don't plan to do anything with their lives, so they're neat, basically, to put it in that way. They are also really bad at interacting with society, and they even see fashionable / beautiful people, which they call stylish, are as their enemy, like most stories do with conflicts and what starts the beginning of a journey. Tsukimi meets a stylish female who helps her save a jellyfish, and they soon realize that they are a male and not a female. So it's just a grand adventure of fashion, romance, and self-growth with these otaku ladies. Great points about this series, as you couldn't already. If that synopsis doesn't not catch you, I don't know what does. It's really good. I did watch some videos on people's reviews of the series. That's where I kind of know people seem to review it positively. If you go on like my anime list, people seem to not like the last chapter. But what a lot of others have mentioned in those reviews on YouTube is that they talk a lot about esteem and confidence and that all women are beautiful. And I do agree with that message. I just didn't think too much about it because I was just so busy with the third part of the series that I'm just like, I feel like it just went over my head. But yes, I do agree with those other people. It is a beautiful underdog story, mostly. I love how all the characters have their really awesome moments, of course, and it's just great. They're also learning about, I guess, themselves, but also the world around them. So this series, it goes into a lot of different cultures. So there's like an Indian character in the manga. It goes into Singapore culture. It's super nice. It's super global. They mentioned earlier about the stylish people. They also learned that not everyone is their enemy, which is like great. And they also become friends with our cross-dressing male main character. So it's really lovely to see the relationship grow. I love how real it gets. It gets super depressing, and I love it when it gets depressing. When a drama hits, the drama really hits. Especially with Koronosuke, who is very flamboyant, very confident, has really great social skills and everything, and knows how to control people, control himself, how to present himself. Great character overall, and to see him be so depressed at their lowest moment was chef's kiss. Like, I loved it. It makes him feel more human. Next great point is that clothes has no genders. I love how they don't contribute Kuronosuke's love for crossing towards LGBT. Now, I'm not trying to bash, of course, on LGBT because it just gives more meaning to clothes, and that literally clothes can be anything. I don't know why people try to say, oh, a girl has to dress this way and a guy has to dress this way. Like, clothes is clothes. Here's Kuronosuke is from the political family, right? How the dad is like, no, Kuronosuke, you cannot dress like that. But Kuronosuke just does what he wants, and he actually loves it for the sake of that. He has a good reason to love it with his mom and everything, but also he just enjoys fashion. And that's really beautiful. If you have not seen the series and you just were interested, you can click off here, because after this point, it is spoiler territory. I recommend you go read it, come back, and just let me know how you feel, because it is a trip after the anime ends. For people who are staying, who have already, you know, read the manga and also watched it, just watch the anime too if you're still here and you haven't seen any but the series. I'm gonna give you a timeline, like a really shortened timeline, so when I refer to like certain arcs or certain things, you kind of know what I'm talking about, which I feel like is just self-explanatory if you have seen the series. Now, if you have not seen it and you just want to just chill with this video, I guess, then here's also where you can kind of have an idea of what's kind of going on. I'll try to also explain each arc as I go on. So let's start with like kind of anime things first. The anime has like an anime original ending, so I have to like explain that as well. So first up, meeting Kuronosuke and beginning romances. So this is when, of course, when Tsukimi meets Kuronosuke, and we also are introduced to his big brother Shu, and yeah, there's like the small love triangle going on. This is where I think mostly happens between episode 1 to when they're first meeting Kuronosuke to like Shu realizing he really likes Tsukimi, and they also go on that jellyfish day at the aquarium with Tsukimi's in the kimono. That's really cute. Second-ish arc is when they talk about a Mizukan, which is the house they live in, is about to go into like planning for the renovation or something like that, and they're gonna be torn down. So Kuronosuke finds about that, and so he like starts a plan to save it, and then it ends at, I think, where they first try on clothes. You get styled by Kuronosuke and put on their first piece of armor, which when you refer it to, like, I think putting on the armor is also, I think, including the flea market part where Tsukimi is making the jellyfish dolls, and then starting the fashion line, which is making the first flower hat jelly dress, and it comes up with that. Now we're gonna forget everything about the Afro model, which I loved her character in the anime, but she's not an actual character in the manga, sadly, which would have been kind of pretty hype and would probably help with the series a lot. But anyways, and also cut out the landlord / Chiyoko's mom when she's talking about how the building, oh, we're not selling it, I changed my mind. Like, cut that out. That does not happen in the manga. I think it's just trying to wrap it up really quick. Moving on to manga content. After they make the first dress and they're almost done with the second dress, instead of that modeling show with the Afro lady, they have a night fashion show at a Mizukan. And this is like also the beginning hype arc, I guess, when also Kuronosuke's mom sees the jellyfish dress, the first one with the flower hat jelly. What was that? With the flower hat jelly, and then also is when I believe they made a bunch of other dresses for like the play theater thing. I call it beginning hype arc of when they're kind of getting their fan base and they're making their first made-to-order dresses, so that's kind of a different thing. For their next arc, it's kind of when they recruit the new members and make the casual line. So we have the couture line, which is the fancy, nice dresses, and then we have the casual line, which is for like more middle class who don't really want to spend a lot on dresses, but they do like the idea of Princess Jellyfish's dress. So we got that, and this is also when Nomu is introduced, who is a pattern maker, and you also meet Nisha, I believe. I kind of forgot her name, but I just see her as an Indian lady. She's just kind of like their producer / manufacturer for the dresses. So they just start making the casual line, which is, I believe, the poisonous or / venomous jellyfishes. And there's a lot of development with Tsukimi and Shu, and they're like literally engaged. Next arc is the exhibition / at their lowest arc, which is like, again, which I mentioned earlier, when it goes really, really deep and Kuronosuke loses a lot of his confidence or just really is stuck. So the exhibition is when they're trying to sell their casual line at like boutiques. I kind of just like don't know how to explain this arc. It's just like they're just trying to sell stuff, but it's not working because, like, first off, it's expensive, of course, and people will just like buy clothes they really need and feel comfortable with, and like etc, etc. Other buying reasons, if you read the manga, you know what I'm talking about. And they also meet a new character, which is CEO Fish. Yes, fish as in the animal slash the creature. So he wants to buy Tsukimi and also the venomous jellyfish because he sees potential in specifically her and wants her to be part of his company because he is a he's a fashion director kind of thing where he has like a gigantic brand. During their lowest, Shu goes to Venice to give Kuranosuke's mom a dress because when she sees the dress in the beginning hype arc, she wants the jellyfish hat dress tailored to her size, and she calls Shu because she still has access to Shu, and so she asks him, can you bring me the jellyfish dress? And so he's like, yes, I'll go bring it to you. And then like during the exhibition, he goes to Venice. His phone is off, he breaks it, etc. So Tsukimi's like, well, Shu's not answering my calls. I guess he hates me now because she's highly insecure, right? So she's like, she hates me now. I don't love him anymore kind of feelings. Musicon is literally about to be sold. The landlord mom is basically like, alright girls, better get out. You have like 6 months. Peace out. And in the lowest arc, they are literally a couple hours away from signing. Tsukimi is like, hold up. Because I have known the love and like I'm the person who kind of started this whole fashion gig going on. She's like, let me go sell myself to Mr. Fish so we can get the money, he can buy the building and we'll be all safe. So she does that, etc. It goes into the next arc, the Singapore arc. She's supposed to learn things there so she can get like some sort of, I guess, fashion degree or whatever. And then Kuranosuke goes to save her in Singapore with Hanamori. Nothing else really happens in a Singapore arc, to be honest. It's just kind of like Tsukimi just sees a different perspective in clothes making. She gets to see and meet other people who are designers and what they think about the industry. From Kuranosuke's point of view, he does see the side of the industry where this brand specifically is like burning clothes and how it kind of has to be like that sometimes where you have to burn clothes in order to make more space for new clothes because people are not buying it. If you were to give out to like mass retailer stores, then their clothes just kind of lose its value. There's a lot of talk about that kind of thing. Kind of see a different side of also CEO Fish and what his upbringing was, how he got into clothes. To get more into it later on as I talk about the tidbits I have. And then we have the next arc, and last arc, the Metamorphosis, and all the secrets come out. Tsukimi is brought back from Singapore with Kuranosuke, and she's again inspired by all these people in Singapore with the more ethnic clothes, the comfortable clothes, wide variety of clothes. Throughout this entire series, Kuranosuke and her have been thinking about like how to dress the ladies of a Mizukon because it is a struggle. They're otakus, they don't really want to do anything. They don't want to be fancy. They just want to dress comfortably and affordably. And so that's when Kuranosuke's really been thinking about the most, but he doesn't want to bring it up because he doesn't want to scare the girls away. And also, while Tsukimi's there, she does realize that's also same idea. And this is the line they make for the girls. Yeah, all the secrets come out. Kuranosuke, the male comes out. Who is Miss Meijiro comes out. Kuranosuke does confess that he loves Tsukimi. And the end. If you did not say what when I said the end, you're as maybe confused as maybe tiny bit irked as I am, or if you are a manga reader and you know I was going with that, like, yes, we are addressing that ending. Yes, it ends with just that. Does Tsukimi get married? Is the love triangle addressed? No. There are 3 main topics I'm going to talk about when it comes to this ending. The last one is kind of more tidbitty stuff, so like not just the ending but also like things with characters and other maybe like plot holes, whatever. But the first 2 are the fashion ending, like how the ending correlates with the fashion part of the series, and also the romance. So we're going to start with fashion first. Okay, the biggest problem I have with this series, with this ending, there is no mention of the jellyfish wedding dress. It is not I'm trying to like slow down and not talk as fast as I did in this first half of the video. The wedding dress is what started the whole jellyfish brand, first of all. It is what motivates or gives the idea to Kuranosuke to save a Mizukon. It's what they put literally all their eggs in the basket for. And just not end on that at least, I feel like it's very pointless. Also, it is mentioned throughout this story from the very beginning. Every time Tsukimi thinks of her mom, the dress is always mentioned. It's been it was introduced at the beginning of the story, like literally the first chapter. I didn't mention it in my synopsis because there's just a big ass synopsis then at that point. But like for like non readers or whatever of the series, if you don't know, so Tsukimi's mother died when she was really young, right? And biggest memory she has with her, the most memorable, most precious or whatever, is when they go to an aquarium together and you look at a jellyfish who has very lace-like tentacles. And so the mom's like, isn't it beautiful? So when one day you're like getting married and everything, I'll make you a jellyfish wedding dress. And so like all girls grow up to be a princess, so and so, etc. And so Tsukimi, again, it's a precious moment, so she holds on to it literally even until adulthood, and just keeps talking about it. It's what inspires Kuranosuke and comes up with the idea again to save a Mizukon. Everything. It's just so like not like anticlimactic, it's just like ridiculous not to end on that note. Honestly, the last page could have been Tsukimi in the wedding dress walking down the aisle. And I would just be perfectly fine with that, like, aside from the exception of the Roman stuff, which I'll again get into later. But, like, you can kind of see, like, a small sliver panel on, like, the second to last page of a dress. Maybe it could just be the jellyfish. Because, like, literally the last few captions or, like, text to the ending is just like, oh, you're wondering if they get married. Well, that ain't important. And this goes on, like, about the whole confidence and all women are beautiful thing. Like, yes, again, I mentioned that. That's one of the great things about the series. If your base of the story is literally that dress is not in your ending, it just feels like such a waste of time. Not just to the readers, but also to the author. Like, why did you do all that and not finish it? Again, manga industry could have been so cutthroat. She was losing popularity or something. Maybe she didn't feel her story anymore. Moving on to the next-ish point is that it doesn't even tell you if the brand is successful. So they have the freaking another fashion show, but at a jellyfish aquarium, right? And like we definitely got a good response from that. Again, anticlimactic, like all this build up to their success. So we're talking about when they're starting up their even couture line. Kuranosuke keeps talking about, oh, we're gonna be in Paris Fashion Week. Oh, we're gonna be on the fashionable street of New York. Oh, we're gonna be in like Milan. He keeps like fantasizing, like keep repeating all these like, oh, we're gonna be there one day. We're gonna be so famous. This whole big dip in drama where you like expect them to come fighting back very slowly, because like even like the descent to the drama and the depression of the story is like so well done. You would also expect for it to go back up, but like it goes like up like 1/3 of the way and then it stops. That's what it feels like to me. So like just to say, this doesn't have no mention of the brand either. Why make it about fashion if you're gonna finish it off on fashion? Is my thing. It's just so sad. And hence why I'm like so rambly. Next point, I feel like the Singapore arc is kind of useless. Like, did Tsukimi really learn anything aside from realizing clothes can be anything and different, and then Kuranosuke at least learning what the value of clothes really is and business of it and how people, middle class especially, approach buying things. Yes, it's a big point to learn that, but I feel like they were making points of that in the first half. They could have just shown the scene of like them burning clothes and everything. Yeah, that's pretty a pivotal point, especially in terms of character development. I'm not really understanding because I don't know clothes, and I just was like so really not feeling it. It just didn't flow right. Maybe it didn't finish a single, I guess, storyline, plotline, whatever. And that leads to my next point in the romance. Oh boy! So as I believe I mentioned earlier, the love triangle is not tied up. First, so let's do like by each character, I guess, for a second. Tsukimi really never explains her feelings. Shu's feelings for her, like for him, are pretty clear. But when it comes to Kuranosuke, she has friend zoned him in a way and has not considered him even as a love interest whatsoever. The Singapore arc could have been where she could have felt her like love for Kuranosuke when he came back to rescue her. Like, we didn't have like a doki doki moment. You would think she'd be so excited to see him, especially when like, everything is happening. Maybe I don't even know if she got like a time where she was like missing home or not. Like, was she homesick? I think she was a little bit, but for a Mizukon. But like maybe not for like, I don't think Kuranosuke can really be number 2 hard. So that being said, like in that Singapore arc, Hanamori should not have been there. So he wouldn't have interrupted that relationship. This could have helped at the end with the whole love triangle thing, help build up to the moment if they do have the wedding. It would explain a lot. instead of just leaving us in the void. So going on to Kuranosuke's character, when in this love triangle at least, his feelings are kind of just like questionable. He does make all these kind of like indirect ways of loving her. I just wish we got a more clearer declaration in his head, and then he confessed to her openly. Moving on to Shu. I don't know how I feel about him. I like the whole thing that they got engaged, they had their moment, yes. But then like, why does he continue to love Tsukimi? He never also apologizes to her when he comes back from Venice and anything like that. When she's like really upset and she was at his lowest, he didn't seem to fathom what was really going on. That's weird to me. I found that really annoying that he's supposed to be like this really smart kind of character. Maybe in romance, sure, not really, but like, you would think he'd be able to see like the big picture, but no, he's just being a stupid version. Since that doesn't happen, he should have ended up with Inori, or at least considered her. If you don't know who Inori is the development lady, Shoko. She's that like the seductress kind of person. I'm referring back to what I wish the ending was, when Tsukimi is walking down the aisle in a jellyfish wedding dress. Maybe on the side you can see like Shu and Inori in the bleachers, and they're like maybe having a baby together. Like why did that happen? And then just like started and then just like went nowhere. Of all the truths that came out, the truth that never came out was that she never told him, or Shu never found out that he actually never slept with her. And I'm just like, you're just gonna go on your life like that? He thinks that he popped his cherry to a person and he doesn't even like get to know about it. Even after like she lost the deal to like get a musicon, she just paced out from the series in general. Think they should have put in a little small side story, I guess, or a little extra, where she like sits by his shoe and there's like kind of like maybe lingering feelings, something like that. But just like, no. Moving on. Romance with the fish and his secretary went nowhere as well. We get an idea that his secretary likes him even at a younger age and he has lost his ways. So Kuranosuke makes a promise to the secretary, right, to one day bring their brand down and the CEO will go back to her secretary. It does happen, not in the way that it was said was going to happen. Stock crash or whatever. The brand loses its money, the CEO gets like basically taken over, and instead of going back to his secretary in like the orphanage they grew up in, he goes to Japan. Okay, why did you make that promise then? To say to the secretary, he'll come back to you. Poor secretary, she has it so hard. It just makes no sense either why he goes to Japan in the first place. Why don't you just go back to your home, to your roots? I feel like most people who are very upset and having a moment in their life and they're having a crisis, go back to where they came from. Go on to the other tidbits. This is just getting a really sad video. Let's continue from that note of the freaking going to Japan, even though he should have been with his childhood friend. Why is everyone just planning to live in a musicon now? Keep the musicon, of course, and just have it become like the big mega house that is their brand company. Another tidbit, we have Hanamori by himself as a character. He is not funny after a certain point. If you don't know who Hanamori is, he's the Benz guy. He's the driver for the Kuranosuke's family. Like, after the whole thing of him revealing that he's kind of like a ladies' man, which I think is a very good move to contrast version Shu. At first, he does seem like really kind of childish, and it's kind of funny. It's kind of a contrast between Shu, but then his character goes downhill. This is him to be a complete idiot, and just like actually also not just be a ladies' man, but also not say gold digger, money hungry, where he's kind of like, oh well, I might leave the Kuranosuke's family and go work for the CEO guy because he can pay for me better. I'm like, it's not even funny. Like, I think it's the dumbest joke. That's not even a joke. I hate Hanamori. He decides to go to Singapore there himself, even though I think Kuranosuke tells him specifically not to, but he still goes to Singapore anyways to like go gamble and win money for a musicon so he can like buy it and he can own it. And then like he just becomes a hindrance for them and ends up spending all their damn money that Kuranosuke wins so he can get back home and try to treat Tsukimi to a good time. Why are you there? Why were you put there? I'm gonna cry. Like, why? Okay, so imagine with me, fantasy version right now. As I was saying earlier, like, it should have been Kuranosuke and Tsukimi where they can build a relationship. Imagine this is how it goes. So, they have no money, right? So they go to the casino to win the money. Tsukimi can send a cool side of Koronosuke, like his more manlier side of him, like winning money, controlling the crowd, being manipulative, all of that. Like she kind of knows him, but she doesn't see it in the good light, I guess, so she can see it in the better light this way. How like really cool he can be. And then like maybe a Doki Doki moment right there. And then she goes to treat him. Oh no. He goes to treat her at like restaurants. He should address to her like, why did you really do that? He help her like stop building this bad insecurity thing that keeps going on. Talk about what they kind of learned during that, so it could make more like sense. What their future plan is instead of just coming like jump into it. And they actually can talk about like how they were both thinking about making clothes for the Musicon ladies. That would have been great. And then they could have gone home. Hanamori, why are you there? About the whole gender reveal at the end, I feel like they should have addressed it earlier on to strengthen the group's bond. When Tsukimi is leaving, Koronosuke doesn't have Tsukimi to like back him up whenever he fucks up and like proclaiming that he's a boy. All those moments where he keeps saying like, oh, this boy don't like that, or Ms. Mama didn't name his boy, Tsukimi has to keep defending him or hiding it or just explaining the situation in some way. And so that would be a great way to foreshadow that. It would be a strong message because like the entire time thinks he's female, so she's relatable, but to also then learn he's a man, but also he still feels the same way about them. His speech at the end when he's saying all of that is a big deal. And the way it's said is really great, but the moment should have been moved, I feel like, earlier so they can get that bond together, have some development going on, more confidence boosting instead of just at the end where I feel like nothing really happened. Kind of anticlimactic. I mean, Maya and Bamba do find out early, but they don't plan to tell anyone. Kind of weird, honestly, in the part where you feel like they're the blabbermouths, or they're just like, they just get so over their heads, they just keep blabbing and do like, I feel like it's kind of out of character a little bit. Also going to the Mejiro gender reveal, again, for people who have not seen the series and they're just tagging along. Mejiro, who is a manga BL author, which I have not mentioned at all really in this video. So they're kind of like, they're hidden away in their rooms and everyone thinks they're a female, but really they are a male, and he comes out at the last arc for the Aquarian fashion show. That's a tidbit that's kind of okay with me. Like, sure, cool, it happened at the end. It answered who Mejiro is, but it just made more questions kind of thing. You know, this Hina with with Chihiko, how does Chihiko feel about him? If you want to include like the LGBT stuff in here, they should have maybe made a low-key lesbian relationship between Chihiko and Mejiro. And it would kind of be like what, Coffee Prince, you know, like old K-drama, I believe. Chihiko would fall in love with Miss Mejiro even though they don't never see each other, and they're like, oh, she's kind of nice, and kind of good vibes for her. I know this Mejiro is supposed to be a really mysterious character, so maybe can't do too much on her end, but like it's still been really cute to do that. And then like even in the end, they're still like, even if you were a man or a woman, I would still love you. Like that would be a really good way to talk about also LGBT if you wanted to go that route. I didn't address again like whether or not Chihiko does like him, or even if he how he feels, because this is kind of weird to be like, oh, I love you. That's why I'm hiding my identity this entire time. That feels kind of awkward. Next to Koronosuke seeing his mom again, which is very anticlimactic. It's not like an impossible case, kind of like on Orange High School Host Club, where like their families are like demanding you never see each other again. Like there's no high stakes like that. There's like no pre-planning for when the mom comes to Japan. It feels ridiculous. So now she just can just go see him herself. Why wouldn't you just do that sooner? Maybe just don't remember it. Well, maybe the dad was like, no, you can never see your mom again. She never showed up sooner because of like maybe the shame she felt for having to leave him. Yes, Koronosuke did cry, but I feel like in that moment, if you haven't seen your mom so long, or you have been wanting to see her for so long, you would jump off that stage and run into her arms. I'm not really passionate about it. It's just things that stuck out to me. It felt kind of, it's just there. The last tidbit I want to talk about is development of the characters overall and what really happened to them. Now we don't get really anything that happens to them, so like I mentioned earlier, everyone lives together, all happy ever after. But it's just like, it's so lame to be honest. Like after we get all the beautiful development with like Maya becoming a model and Gigi just taking over operation manager, like I love those moments so much, and then it's just like not to see it come through. It's just disappointing and just super anticlimactic. Also, like throughout the series, we can never really tell if especially Maya and Bamba are loving this whole clothing thing. Obviously they're not, but we never get to see them like consider it and like actually maybe appreciate it, even just for like helping their friends, doing it for a musicon and everything. They're always just complaining and really hating it, and it's just really upsetting because I want to see all these characters just like love it and just like enjoy it. Do they even develop more confidence in themselves? Because it feels like that's the theme that's going on. That's what it's trying to push towards the readers. Do these characters actually believe that in the end? I honestly don't think so. Like, yes, Momo shows her face. Yes, you go on stage and wear the outfits. But I feel like that's just a really important moment that you realize they should do that, because it is like Tsukimi come back. Kuranosuke's mom's like there, blah blah blah. Kind of like static characters that all do become friends with Kuranosuke, but I feel like it's just one separate thing that makes them come out of their shell more towards him. They are still kind of like not really into society and still run away and everything. They don't like try to fight back and stand up for themselves. Since there's no like tell whether or not the brand succeeds, we don't know if Gigi like continues that job of being the operation manager, Maya becomes a model. It's again another issue of making progress in something, starting something but never finishing it and just like giving it up. I really was super excited when Maya was like being a model. Like, that moment was so hilarious to me. It also made me still feel like super genuine about it, because it's just a great interaction also with Kuranosuke, and that where she should have built her confidence and more comfortable. I'm just like, and it just got destroyed. Even people want to say this is like an open ending series. For this, it's just not even an open ending. It's because the last two arcs were so lackluster, you would want to get something out of it at this point. Honestly, this series could have had at least 5 more volumes worth of content, maybe even 10. I just feel like it just got chopped really early because of, I don't know if there is a reason, or if Miss Akiko was really feeling very comfortable ending it where it did. I have to do research on that later, because I honestly feel like this is just a case of maybe she wasn't inspired to do the series more, or she just had to put on chopping block because the manga series that she was with was not feeling it anymore either, and the people and the fans were not feeling it anymore either. Which would explain a lot, I feel like, if that had been the case, where if she was told to put an ending to this series soon. Like, maybe when she was in the depressing part of the series, and she was really going out of it, then she was having maybe a decline in fans, or readers in this case, and so they were like, we gotta get more people back, and so that's why maybe she put like Hanamori in the Singapore arc, so maybe we can get more people's attention, more comedy, people will love it more, and then it just kind of went really lackluster from there, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. I don't even know how to end this video, I'm sorry. It's like, this is a super depressing video. I know I said it skews like a little negative, but like really this video is super negative. I really hate to like be like that. I know this is a really ranty, rambly video. I just wanted to talk about this and then address this, because it's so, I feel like it's so tragic. I don't know of any other series who's done it where they really went from fashion from the very bottom and make it to the top if they were to finish the story all the way. Like, that would have been great. It would have been an amazing underdog story. I don't know how to end this video. I guess like, I don't know, like I feel like there's just more to say, but I just don't know. Like, my mind is not here. I can't like remember everything, honestly, because it's just like so much. This is not a review per se. I don't want to say that because I don't even talk about the art style. I don't talk about the character specifically. I don't like talk about the beginning really. This is not a review. This is me just being not even critiquing, just like breaking apart this ending and how I feel it's one of the worst endings I've ever read in manga. I hate to put it there because like, maybe people are gonna watch this video and be like, why are you hating? Again, I'm not hating, but like, why are you so hard? Maybe you find that it all makes sense to them somehow. Please explain to me if it makes sense to you and how you are not disappointed, because I am in extreme mode. Thank you for watching. Maybe at one point you got so depressed with this video as well that you just like maybe stop watching. I feel sorry. Probably no one's gonna watch this in the last 20 minutes or something, however long these videos are, because I take forever. But if you have made it to this point and you feel my pain and everything, please leave a comment. Yeah, be safe, be sane. I'll try to be sane, and I'll see you next time. Bye.